One of the things I feel very strongly about is that a study of science should have embedded within it a very robust and coherent presentation of the way science and faith go hand in hand. I understand that many scientists believe that science is completely based only on what our senses can tell us. But there are many questions having to do with the natural world that bring faith naturally into the question, such as, why is mathematical order to be found everywhere in nature? Why are the planets, orbits, all able to be described by the same simple set of equations? Why do crystal structures take on the same geometrical form? Why are there laws of physics in the first place? Why are there laws of chemistry? If everything evolved randomly, why don't we just have chaos? Why do we have order? Why do things constantly obey the same laws day after day? Where did these laws come from? Where did the Big Bang even come from? Where did life come from? Why does life exhibit purpose? And where did purpose come from in the universe? There are so many good questions like this that relate very closely to the study of science that I believe it's an appropriate thing to constantly challenge students to think in terms of how our faith gives us eyes to see the fingerprints of God in nature. So I am not satisfied with an approach to the integration between science and faith that would simply try to bring Bible verses in to explain every new chapter or start each class with a Bible verse. I think the students see these kinds of techniques as artificial, and I think there's a much more robust way to bring faith into the classroom. I think also we need to have a proper sense of balance when we talk about integrating faith into the classroom. The fact is, when we're studying chemistry, most of the time we're talking about chemistry. Occasionally we will talk about how the order or the purpose or the design in what we're studying is so obvious that we pause and reflect on it, and we give praise to the God who made these things and gave us the laws of nature. But it's not something that we talk about 5 times a day. It's the sort of thing that we bring in at appropriate times, and students will appreciate that. They will see that the teacher is being reflective and encouraging without being domineering or repetitive or even ham-fisted or overbearing in the way the teacher brings these things into the classroom. I think integrating faith into the science classroom in a Christian school boils down to being biblically faithful, to viewing kingdom life as a mode of life in which Christ informs everything that I do all the time. It's a way of thinking that follows me around at all times, and I never think outside of that. So when I'm doing an experiment in chemistry, I am honoring God by doing that experiment, even if I don't talk about Him while I'm doing the experiment. Later, in a time of reflection with my students, if I want to talk about the order of the laws of chemistry that inform that experiment, then that would be a good time to bring that in. I want students to understand that there's no conflict between science and faith. In fact, how could there be a conflict between study of the world God made and study of the one who made that world? God made the world. He gave us the intellectual capability to explore His world. There can't be a conflict between them. There can only be a conflict between those who believe in the Creator of the world and those who don't believe in the Creator of the world. That's, of course, a conflict that colors the relationship between science and faith, because many scientists, of course, have proclaimed in a very public manner that they don't accept the existence of God. What I propose is that we take our faith into the classroom, we teach good science, we talk about the robust theories that we have that do such a great job of making predictions that are reliable, that have been vetted by experiments over and over, and then we teach students how to relate scientific effort to the vision that they have where they can see from the order and design in nature that nature is a marvelous gift to us, given to us by a creator who loves us. That's my way of thinking about science and faith. And I try to incorporate this into my textbooks in the same way. In appropriate times, I bring in a connection to a faith way of looking at this subject that's in front of us. But I don't do that on every page. I do it occasionally as the context makes it appropriate, so that students see that as we go through the text and we reflect from time to time on what we're learning and thinking about how this fits in with our broader view of the world. But it's not something that we hammer on all the time. I think students appreciate this, and it helps them grow in their own faith.